So we are going to talk about diversity. How do we mean with the word diversity? Is truly an important word now. We can see many events and many roles are starting to be created about diversity and engagement in businesses, but also in many fields, and in technology and media as well. First of all, we can see that the word diversity is truly a general one. I'm looking at the definition provided by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which sees diversity as the condition of having or being composed of different elements. So it looks like this word is associated with the one of variety, and it implies also the inclusion of different types of people, such as people of different races or cultures, in a group or in an organization as well. So we see that now we have many programs intended to promote diversity in schools, also in businesses. And this word is not only associated with physical elements or varieties, as we can say the biological variety, but also with the concept of a diversity of opinions, which is truly essential and important nowadays. Because of course we need to guarantee that all people coming from different cultures, backgrounds, have the right to express themselves. So this is truly important. And let's see how this word is linked to the word in games. So I will share the presentation, but the important thing to say, first of all, is that we see that video games are a huge market. The global turnover is of about 1 billion and 40 in the globally. But what is the important thing to say about this data is that of course it was provided by the agency and company Newzoo, which is a leader in providing data about the game industry. But what we can say about the global games market, this turnover is very important, but the important fact is that the half of it comes from mobile games. So now the platform on mobile games, so smartphones, of course, tablets, are truly important. And why we are talking about this in our talk? Because we see that now there are many data saying that gamers are half women, but this is not truly right, we can say, because these gamers, the percentage of female gamers is mainly playing mobile games. So this is important to say, not only for data on platforms, but especially for because we need to understand why players and female players decide to play mostly mobile games and not PC or console games. We have different we see different opinions about this data in research, but the important fact is that now these 46 gamers, which are female players, are used to play mobile games because they can recognize and they can associate themselves more with this kind of games instead of playing a first-person shooter, for example, or a racing game. And this is truly essential, because to change the environment in video games and to have a more inclusive industry, we need, of course, to address many issues. And one of them is, of course, the representation of women inside the game industry. This is truly essential and important. And we can say that in the years, this representation has changed a lot. We are going through a long path, of course, but things have become really better since the early 90s, where we had many racing games or shooters where female characters were not represented, or were represented truly in a bad way, we can say, as a stereotypes or as trophies for gamers. And now things are starting to get better. We are very happy about that, of course. And the study by Quantic Foundry, which is specialized in data about gamers and the game industry, looks into these statistics to see that female players are more used to play specific genres of games, so not only, we can say, mobile games, but we can find many different genres also on PC or consoles, which are mostly played by female players. Some of them are, for example, the family and pharmacy simulator games, so social games, casual or puzzle games, or Japanese games, for example. And we see at the lowest rates of the games played by women, we find the racing games, shooters, or also the sports games. Why we see this important data? And we have a range of around 60% of women playing, for example, family and farm simulators, and 2% playing sports or tactical shooter games. So we see there is really a huge gap between these genres play the games, because we can see easily that the representation of female characters within these genres are truly different, and this is the most important fact for us to talk about the topic of diversity, and also to encourage more companies in the industry to represent better characters in this world. What we have learned in these years, we see with Women in Games, which is the not-for-profit international organization working to promote a more inclusive environment for not only for women, but also for people and professionals coming from others minorities, like of course countries, other countries, but also to address issues like the one of ageism, because the game industry is truly a young one. So we see that we have many problems also in engaging with older professionals working within it. So we are launching a lot of initiatives and programs to allow people to see that also the older professionals working in the industry have they are still there, and they also brought very important contributions for the development of the game industry as well. What is the problem for us to have a more inclusive environment. Is not only linked to have a better representation of women. This is truly essential for us, but we have many other issues. We also have to engage with young students, and I can read many of your comments. We see many young students which are really willing to work inside the game industry because they are avid players, but they don't know anything about this industry and they don't think they can work inside it because they see the game industry as an industry for men. This is not true, of course, but we have this big problem. We have this issue which is truly important to address with families, with schools, with the youngest generations, because they have a lot of opportunities inside it, but they still don't know it. So what are the data about this? We see that on the percentage of teens who play games, the 54 of them are men, and the percentage of women are the 46. So this gap is not truly a big one, we can say. But if we go and ask teens about the profession, if we ask them if they are interested in making games, we see that the 68% of men says so, and the 32% of women say they would love to make games in the future. So we see the gender gap becomes truly huge now, because it's at least 40 points, and it's truly important because we have to address this important issue. And if we ask these teens if they are interested to work in the game industry as well, we see that men say they are interested to do so in a percentage of 65%, and women who want to work in the game industry become the 24%. So the gender gap is truly huge. And in the game industry, of course, we are facing the problems many technology industries are facing. So this is the issue. Girls don't know, and they think they cannot work in STEM, so in any technology field, and this is not right, of course. So with Women in Games, the international organization with Women in Games Italy, we try to speak to families, to schools, to allow them to understand that many women work in games. They are great professionals, and they do not work only in localization or communication or marketing, which are fields where we can see and we can think about female professionals, but they are working also in development, of course, or in research, in data. And this is an issue we are facing here in Italy as well, because the game industry is not so important right now in Italy, because we have a huge market. The Italian one is the 5th in Europe, but of course the turnover and the percentage of Italian companies well known worldwide for game development are not so many, and this is the main problem. But we are starting to change something, and with Women in Games Italy as well, we can see that now many girls are aware about the opportunities to work in this amazing industry. And and we are trying to attract more and more of them, because this is truly important. We in video games, we need a more inclusive industry, but not only because it is right, and because it is of course also an economical issue. We need it because we need to create better games, because games can engage with younger generation, they can bring empathy, so we need to give players true characters. We have to represent minorities inside video games, and we have to empower and to engage this young generation. I think this session is about to be closed, because we had 20 minutes, but I would love to reply to some questions if you have some. Let me see in our chat. I'm happy to see we are talking with professionals coming from Brazil to every corner of the planet, of course. And I hope also this situation we are facing now of coronavirus will help to let people understand that we have really to help each other. Yes, I will send you the slides in a minute. I'm just uploading them. I can see some questions. One says that, yes, Denise is pointing out that women are represented visually in characters in a very strange way, and this is absolutely true. So we really have to address it. But if we think about the history of games, we can see that one of the first game to talk to women was, for example, Pac-Man, which is really strange to think about. But this was truly an important decision by the game designer, Toru Guadani, and talking to a different audience, so to, for example, to young women, if succeeded in creating a game who truly changed the industry forever. So this is truly important to see. I'm sending the slides. Yes, I see Mafalda is saying that we think about professions for women in the game industry as professions in communication or marketing, and it's absolutely not true, because we see many amazing women working in all fields in video games, from development to programming, and this is truly important to say and to explain to families and kids as well. Okay, I'm sending you the slides. Here we go. I've sent you the link to download the slides. I hope you enjoyed this session. Sorry for the issues in the very beginning. It was truly a pleasure to meet you all, and please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or wherever you find suitable. I'm on all social media, of course. Thank you very much. It was truly a pleasure, and have a great conference. Bye-bye.